And could you introduce yourself, Miss?
Yes. Hello. My name is Marziyeh Amirzadeh. I'm originally from Iran. I grew up in an Islamic country, but praise God, I found Jesus Christ more than 20 years ago, and I became a Christian. And after I became a Christian, I started sharing my faith with my friends, with people, and distributing Bibles, which is a violation of Islamic laws. And then I got arrested. I was sent to one of the most brutal prison in the world, and I was sentenced to death by hanging. And praise God, with lots of international pressures, like Amnesty International got involved, Pope from Vatican got involved, and many Christians all around the world started advocating for me. And then with the power of God, I got released and I moved to the United States in 2011.
Okay,
And
2011.
Yeah, and I wrote my first book, Captive in Iran, which is the story of my imprisonment. And I shared this story with many people all around the world to educate people about persecution and advocating for persecuted Christians. And I graduated from Georgia Tech. I got both my bachelor and master from Georgia Tech University. And then I wrote my second book, which is a love journey with God. That's my whole story about my journey with Jesus. I shared about how it's difficult living under the harsh rules of Islam, and I shared about persecution and lots of stories and my experiences and my personal relationship with Jesus. And now I'm running for House District 67. God called me to stand up and to serve my country. I love America, I love Georgia, and I love serving people. That's why I wanted to serve my country.
Wow. And 67, what city or what counties is that?
It's Fairbairn City, South Fulton, Fairbairn, Palmetto, and part of Covina County. Yeah.
Okay. And what issues are most important to you, Miss?
It's not about me that what issues are important to me. I think we should ask what issues are important to the voters. And I have already started canvassing, and I'm talking to people in my district and pastors to see what made them concerned about that district, what issues made them make them concerned. And I wanted to hear them about the issues, about the problems, and about their suggestions for how to make Georgia a better state to live.
Okay, excellent. And I see you're a supporter of Mr. Perdue as well. And are you a supporter of Trump too, or?
Of course. Yeah. After the election in 2020, what happened, it really shocked me, because I moved to the United States because of the freedom and opportunities that exist here, and I was thinking I'm moving to a country which will have all my rights, and I can participate in a free and fair election without my vote being stolen. But unfortunately, what happened in 2020, it really shocked me, and it reminded me the system of election in Iran, because in Iran people have no voice to choose their candidate, and if they object to election fraud, they will be sent to jail. And that the result of that election was shocking to me and many people all around the United States, and that's why I felt that was a kind of alarm to me. And I see that we are losing our freedoms. And from the beginning in 2020, I shared my opinion on my social media about election and about my experience in living in an authoritarian country. And I always tell people that how much is important to stand up for our freedoms, and especially Christians, because we need to get united and stand up for our values before it's too late.
Okay, and then last question before you can share anything else. What do you think about the recent Supreme Court leak about abortion? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm 100% against abortion. To me, abortion is slaughtering babies. It's taking a life, and I'm 100% pro-life, because no one should have the right to take a life, and I believe liberals use some names to distract people. For example, in Iran, they have a term which is temporary marriage. And you can marry with a man under Islamic rules. You can marry a man for a year, for years, for months, for days, even for hours. And that's a trick, because people who do that, they think that they marry. But that's prostitution. The true meaning is prostitution. And I think the abortion is slaughtering a baby, and we should not deceive ourselves with that, and that's totally wrong, and I'm against that.
Any other thoughts you want to share with us, ma'am? Maybe about news this week, or any updates you want to give as far as anything you want to share?
I lived half of my life under an authoritarian system, and I'm very familiar with some of the tricks. I'm familiar with the division that the government create among people, because by creating division among people, they can rule people, control people. And I know about how it is like losing our freedoms. I know about persecution. I didn't have an easy life. I experienced lots of hardship, and that's why when I moved to America, when I became an American citizen in 2016, I swore faithfully to God to protect my country, to stand up for my country, and to protect it from its enemies, both domestic and foreign. And because I care about this country, I have lots of friends and a family. They are like my family in Georgia, and that's why I don't want persecution come here, and I don't want people to experience what I experience in such a authoritarian country like Iran. That's why I feel responsible to stand up, to share my story with people and encourage them to stand up for their faith and for their values before it's too late.
Final question. You just made me think of an idea. Do you see any similarities between the Shah's administration and the Biden administration?
Actually, not with the Biden administration.
Okay.
Shah was a great king in Iran.
Okay.
And unfortunately, people didn't stand up with him. A group of minority, radical Islamic minority, made decision for the whole country, and majority of Iranians were silent at that time, and that's why they lost their freedom. During the Shah, Iranians had freedom, and women had equal rights with men. But since people didn't stood up with him, that's why they lost their freedom, they lost the greatness of their country. That's why I encourage people here that we should stand up with true leaders and true conservatives and great leaders. President like President Trump, he is still my president. And if we do not stand up and support these great leaders, we will definitely lose them, and it's not that they will lose, it's us that we will lose.
Yes.
The country and the great leaders.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Marziyeh. Appreciate it. And